my motion.
Well, you can just give the direction to the city manager too.
Put a new bid out there, and you cannot have public works director sponsor an item and you don't know nothing about it. That's when you need to take his responsibility. He's the public work director. You have to stop being public director and city manager at the same time. Because his name is there, if it's the administration, I understand that. But if his name is there, he cannot answer to it. It's like he don't know nothing about it. That's what it seems like.
I agree with Councilman. Everybody
what it
needs
seems
to
like.
get their ship in order.
Yeah, and
That's
when
what
they
I'm
cannot
saying.
do the job, man. That's what if you don't know about it, it's like you put it out there. You're the public work director and you're the city manager.
Mr. Ghani, I think,
Councilman, with all due respect, actually the bid was prepared in collaboration with purchasing and the public
And
works
public
director.
But it wasn't a part of the negotiation where you have to split it. What was the contest? What was the protest was, and all those stuff.
That was part of a legal matter that I dealt with the city attorney's office.
But after that, you got to share with the sponsor of the item. Is the one, if you wanna put your name, it's fine. But if you're gonna put his name, that's when you got to be aware of
Sure.
the discussion.
Mr. Desulme?
yes, Mr. Ghani, I think you could also mention the cost of the item, that it is worth 8 million, but we're doing phase one. I guess we could put that language within the RFP, and we are only bidding for phase one, so we don't,
Sure.
it's all clear.
Yeah, do it phase by phase, man.
Yeah.
The total amount, what we have to be awarded.
Okay.
Tab I, proposed ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 7 of the North Miami Code of Ordinances entitled Finance by amending relevant sections of Article 3 entitled Procurement Code to reduce the current dollar threshold required for the city manager and city attorney to enter into contracts without the authorization of the city council, and further updating the title of director of the purchasing department to manager of the purchasing department, providing for repeal, conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date. That is tab I.
Oh, this is second reading. I don't know if anyone from the one from the public would like to be heard on this. Yes, come on to the mic.
I need clarification as to what the amount is.
If you pull the microphone down and
I need
your name and
clarification.
name
My
and
name's
address.
Annette De Silva, Dr. De Silva. And I need
And
Clar-
address.
2250 Bayview in Keystone. The clarification I need is, what is the current dollar threshold? Because that's not in here.
I believe it's 100,000.
Yeah.
It's actually on page 10 of the proposed ordinance.
Is
It's
that
been decreased
doesn't
from
have-
100,000.
included in here? No.
Yes.
No, what you have is just a basic agenda. If you look at the support documentation, either in the packet or online, we're reducing the threshold from $100,000 to $25,000.
And the reason?
Hmm?
For the proposed reduction?
If we can you give us some explanation what we are doing exactly? I think that's what
Keys
she
is
wanna
the
know.
Councilman Key's item.
Oh.
I'll be happy to answer. It's my item. There's two portions of it. Many years ago, the manager was given free reign up to 25,000 to enter into contracts. It was changed. It was increased to $100,000. I think this gives the council more control over the manager to not go out and spend more than 25,000 without the approval of the council. It also gives the manager a little more comfort knowing that people cannot pressure him into spending more than 25,000. The second part with the city attorney, there has not been any guidelines on attorneys hiring outside counsel. In the past few years, we've our attorneys have, and not just this past one, have hired outside counsel, 400,000 here, with the council not even knowing who was hired or given. So I want a little bit more control from up here. Money is going. This is for the protection of the citizens.
So I'm a little confused. So you're reducing the threshold from, currently, it's $100,000 that the city manager needs approval to spend
To 25,000.
to 25,000 because the council needs more control?
Yes. Yes.
Is this not allowing the city manager to be able to spend
I don't
money?
think, in my personal opinion, I don't think a city manager or our attorney should have the unlimited free reign to go out and spend or hire contractors at their will.
Okay. Thank you.
Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. Good evening, council, mayor, and staff. I'm in favor of this ordinance. I think it's a good ordinance, and that our council that we vote for has more control of the expenditure of the city manager and our city attorney. Thank you.
Robert Husted, primary and only residence, 1150 Northeast 123rd Street. I also support this amendment. I think it is, while I do believe in the capabilities of our city manager and our city attorney to do their job, I especially like the idea of spending caps without consultation for legal matters. And so therefore, I am in total agreement with this ordinance and this amendment. Thank you.
Okay, public hearing is now closed. Any comment from here?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion was made by Vice Mayor Keys to approve tab I as is. It was seconded by Councilman Desiree. Mayor Joseph, how do you vote?
No.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilman Desiree, how do you vote?
Yes.
Item passes 4-1. Tab J, presentation and discussion regarding development of an indoor sports center in North Miami, requested by Randy Albrecht, Chief Operations Officer, General Manager of the Miami Sports LLC. Sorry for butchering your last name.
That's okay. Good evening. My name is Randy Albrecht. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and the General Manager of the Miami Sports Center LLC that has been brought forth.
Excuse me. What?
Before we start with the presentation,
We just got to introduce the item first, Mr. Mayor, before he starts his presentation.
Yeah, you didn't give me a chance.
That's
Go ahead.
a little anxious.
Tab J was actually taken off last week's agenda and pushed back to this week for staff to get more information regarding it. This is actually an unsolicited proposal staff received for the Cagney Park site. There's been discussion on developing the Cagney Park site. This was an unsolicited proposal.
You have to say Cagney North.
Cagney North,
Yeah.
sorry, sir. For the Cagney North site, that was an unsolicited proposal that did come in. Staff met with Mr. Joseph Tempone, and they did do a presentation for staff. I know a presentation was made to a couple people on the dais, and they wanted this opportunity to come before the entire council and the citizens to just let them know what they see as a vision for our possible Cagney North site. So we did allow them to come on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor? Through you to Mr. Sori. Mr. Sori, this is shown as being a co-sponsored item, co-sponsored by city administration. What I'm about to hear from Mr. Albrecht Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Am I to assume this has your blessing and this is what the direction you want us to go with our parks?
No, sir, that's not, what you hear from, the individuals from the Sports Center is their proposal, untouched by staff. This is just an unsolicited proposal, and they're just doing their proposal of what they see for the site. Staff is no way in agreement. We haven't sat down. There's a lot of issues that would have to be addressed as far as our joint usage agreement with the county for that site. So this is
major,
Mr.
though. I
Okay,
mean,
Mr. Councilman Galvin, let me explain. You know, we have the site, Cagney Park, North. You know, we've been working with the school board, and right now we have an interlocal agreement with the school board, and to see if we can build the swimming pool, all those and activities
Together with the
on
GOB
the site,
funding,
on the
yes.
site. And the city manager and the deputy city manager asked me there is a company and would like to bring something on the site. And I said, okay, let me see what it is. They did a presentation, and it seems like something that I want to share with the council, just sharing the information. Since I cannot call you and tell you, I want you to come to my house and come see this project, I say, okay, can you do a presentation to mayor and council? It's just a presentation. There's nothing on it. Just a presentation. You can know exactly what it is. If you
Mr.
feel
Manager.
like you don't want to do it at Cagney, you want to do it at Claude Pepper Park.
What
or
is it?
Whatever
Wait,
it is.
wait, what
That's why
is
I
it?
said a presentation under the sunshine. I cannot tell you exactly what it
And,
is.
and just
until I
one
present
point
that.
of clarification, actually, they met with the mayor first, the mayor and I first, before the presentation came to you,
Yeah,
Councilman,
exactly.
since it was in your district, and again, as the deputy said,
And I didn't know what to share.
you did, actually, and it was unsolicited. We never, in no way, shape, or form, went out there, requested any presentation or requested anything for Cagney Park North.
Yeah, and at the
Um,
same time, we're still working with the school board.
Still
That's
working
been
with the school
first
board,
plan,
and we're still working with Miami-Dade County
Exactly, to-
on the GOB funding.
whoever come first.
That's correct.
Wait, which is Cagney North? That's the old Pioneer.
That's District 3, don't
all
No,
the
no, I know
yeah.
that's District.
The field that is
Graduate.
north of
So
135th
the
Street.
old school.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Also, they changed the name. Okay,
8th
Cagney
Avenue.
No,
North.
that's Cagney.
I know.
Right.
But the
But-
old school, where I used
No,
to.
but if you said Cagney,
Okay, guys, we gotta get
Vice
going.
Mayor Keys may think
Are we
that's-
gonna move
That's
with
first
this? Let's
district.
move with the
Yeah,
presentation
Cagney
now,
South
so
and
we can move it. This
That's
is
what it is.
Yeah.
this is a very short agenda, so let's keep it short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Randy Albrecht. I'm the Chief Operations Officer and the General Manager of the Miami Sports Center LLC that has been brought forth. I want to thank the Honorable Mayor, Dr. Smith Joseph, for allowing me to present this proposal. A thank you to the extended esteemed council, Mr. Manager, Madam Vice Mayor, and planner and staff. The city of North Miami is a city on the move. It's a city that has been recognized as a player in the economical growth. The Miami Sports Center LLC wants to be a part of your team and get in the game. We are seeking to create a public-private partnership that would add and bring added tax revenue to the city, jobs, tourism dollars, and spur further investment in the city of North Miami, and bring a worldwide recognition as being the home of a world-class sports facility. We propose a 225,000 square foot entirely indoor sports facility. The facility would house 2 ice rinks, 2 tennis courts, 2 basketball courts, a regulation-sized turf field, a full-size Olympic pool, a state-of-the-art fitness center, a zero-depth entry splash zone, a flow rider surf machine, a rock wall climbing area, a student-athlete computer center, a sports-themed restaurant, a cafe concession, an orthopedic and sports medical clinic with rehabilitative services, and a retail equipment and apparel store and added amenities. We are respectfully requesting the city of North Miami provide 5.5 acres for the construction and permanent placement of the Miami Sports Center LLC. This long-term lease would be not for less than 99 years. Additionally, it is requested that a minimum of $5 million be allocated as a gesture by the city of North Miami in embracing the development of this $20 million project. If approved, with any agreement, we will work diligently alongside the city manager, the council, planner, and staff to create the model public-private partnership. One which can be held as an example of what can be achieved when public and private entities work together for the common good of the community. I would like to introduce some of the individuals that have been outlined in your information packets that has been provided. They can offer insight and answer some questions. First, I'd like to introduce Bill Gillian, Sports Turf One. Bill has installed artificial turf systems at FAU, the city of Sunny Isles Beach, and the University of Miami. Bill?
Not yet.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. As Randy said, my name is Bill Gillen. I'm the vice president of Sports Turf One. I'm a Palm Beach County sports athletic field designer and builder. I've been asked by this group to come forward tonight and I guess just add some validity to the team that they're presenting to you to make this come to fruition. After looking at it with the team that they've assembled, I think it's a great thing for the city of North Miami. Our expertise in constructing these sorts of venues, we work all over the country, and I build anywhere from 200 to 500 fields of year, natural and synthetic turf. So with their asking me to help them with this project, you got a good thing going here. So. Questions?
How much is the project you said? $20 million. Where are you gonna find the money?
We have two groups that are,
Can you take the mic?
We have two groups that are committed already for the project, depending on the agreement that we have, which group that we will go with.
How many acres do you need for the project?
I'm sorry.
How many acres
5.5.
of land do you need?
What size of acreage do you need?
How much land do you need? I mean,
The 5.5.
5.5. Okay. And how many sites did you look out in the city?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
How many sites? Did you choose only Cagney, or did you check other area?
The area that we were looking at was the Cagney area.
Cagney only.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, sir? Would there be a cost to the general public if this project were to go forward? I mean, to our residents, how does that work?
It's gonna be the okay. Good.
Well, that question I'm not really sure, but I mean, just like if you had a city bond, it would pay for itself.
No, and
No.
we're talking about the public, the residents
let's
of the
just
city.
No, I mean this money can be funded through the group.
No. My question is, once your project is up and running, would there be a cost to the public to enter, or would there be a fee?
Oh no, it wouldn't cost anything to go inside the facility. Maybe if you wanted to participate in like public sessions for the for skating or for like it would have all kinds of things as far as like party rentals for birthday parties, indoor parties.
Through the
But
mayor?
I talked to another, the one that presented the project to me, he said it's gonna be the same fee as the city. It's gonna be the same rate that the
same
city,
rates.
the park and rec use, that the same rate that they're gonna be charging.
Through the mayor, when the individuals did come to meet with staff, they did, we did have those same questions that you have. They stated they would look to do something similar to the fees that we already offer swimming at Sasso Pool, $2 a person. They would honor those same fees and costs. Also, another thing, when you did ask how much it costs to build the facility, in the proposal that the company did prepare, they're asking for $5 million from the city to be paid back over the course of 10 years, $500,000 a year. Again, that's what they gave us. The staff has not agreed to it. We're not co-signing on it or anything, but that's the proposal that did come to us. But it would be fees associated with anything that's done inside the park, but reduce fees to the residents of North Miami who use the facilities.
And would there be a schedule worked out for us to get some of that money, or would it all go to them, or?
The
you
current
guys
proposal that
I
they
think
did have in place was
he
for
has a
them
question.
to get them, for them to pay us back the 500,000
No,
every
no,
year.
no, not that. I know that we're lending them. I'm saying
The
the
fee
profit
charging.
that they're gonna be making. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Joseph Timpone. I'm the managing partner for this project, and Randy Albrecht, who's our chief operations officer, he's running the day-to-day operations for the planned facility. A lot of the questions and structure that you may have questions for from the council and the manager and staff, I can answer those questions.
Okay.
Those fees that you're inquiring about are similar to what the fees are currently being offered for your city residents. So if it's $2 to go swimming at Sasso Pool, it's $2 at our pool. So those are the benefits.
At whose pool?
The City of
The
North Miami
Sasso.
Pool, Sasso Pool, I believe it
yeah.
is,
Okay.
correct? Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're
No,
right. No,
I
you're
just
correct.
heard the our pool.
Well, your pool. I'm sorry about the our pool. It's the same. It's the same fees for the City of North Miami residents. We want to extend and enhance the recreational offerings to the the citizens of the City of North Miami. We don't want to be in a situation where we're pulling recreational offerings away from the city. We want to complement it, which is really the end goal here. As far as other ancillary activities in the building, whether it be public skating or whether it be rock wall climbing, whatever, there's going to be preferred pricing for city residents.
No, I understand that.
Right.
My follow-up question was, the profit that you'll be making,
Right.
would there be some type of arrangement between the city and your company thereafter? Not the 500,000 that you're
Right.
gonna be giving us the course of
Well,
10 years, if agreed.
I want to clarify the profitability and also the commitment. The commitment has been adjusted. Payback, the $5 million that we're requesting, would actually be $1 million per year for 5 years return, not 10 at 500,000. So you, City of North Miami, would receive that money back within 5 years. Plus, we're extending an additional $5 million years 6 through 10 at current market loan rates. And then for the life of the lease, there's revenue coming back years 11 through 25 at $500,000 a year, even though we've, it met our obligation to return the money back to the city. Really what we're looking for is, we want our investors to feel comfortable with the commitment from the city. And the majority of the investment is going to come from our backers, which are two separate groups who are eager to do this. We have no issue with proving financial worthiness and ability to complete the project within a certain amount of time. But we really want to make sure that, that the city is embracing the project as a whole. We see an opportunity for the city to improve and enhance facilities. Some of the money that's coming back to the city after we've paid the $5 million GOB money coming back, that money is earmarked to the city to do as you please. So whether it be infrastructure improvements, or whether it be improvement to park systems, educational programs, whatever you guys choose to use it for, with the council, that's at your discretion.
Are you looking at any other city at this time?
We have engaged other municipalities and cities, and they have shown sharp interest. But we feel, because of what we've outlined in the packet, the city of North Miami really is the desired place because of the proximity to airports, highways, proximity to the beach, the fact that the location has the acreage. There's acreage shortage in Miami-Dade County. We feel that a lot of these aspects work in our favor of creating a partnership with the city of North Miami.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not fully on board yet.
Sure.
Here's my question. We're giving you 5.5 acres, and we're giving you 5 million. Let's just say this, go along with this. Okay, what are we getting back in return? Because I haven't hear that as of right now. I hear that you are returning back the money.
Right.
But my question is, once the profit, what is the residents, of course, if you give us the money, we put in our general fund, we do whatever we need. But what is the profit structure, or do you have something outlined that you see from year 11 to 25, we're getting this amount? Because you are asking us to go into a lease for 99 years, which I don't think none of us will be here by now. But the idea is, what are we getting for the package that we are giving you? Because it seems to me that we are offering you more than you are giving us.
Right.
Because we could go out in a bond and ask our residents, we could build our own facility.
Right.
Through a
I
bond.
think that that facility could be built. However, it would be a drain, and maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe the council, who is skilled, highly skilled, you could find another $3.9 million in your budget yearly to run the facility for payroll, operational costs, insurance. You know, that could be. You could go build your own $20 million indoor facility, and then take another $3.9 to $4.2 million a year out of your budget to operate it. And you could even, you know, do a completely outdoor one. But then we'd be back to square one with being at the mercy of the weather, which includes flooding, lightning, excessive heat, and everything else. Some of the things that we've decided to offer the city is using the facility in the event of a natural disaster. Because our facility will have backup generators, and because we have food capabilities, and we have a medical clinic already in the facility, we have an unbelievable opportunity to service the city of North Miami residents. We could house, feed, and triage in the case of emergency. And there's quite an upside there. That's not including the things that we're looking to construct, which includes a new recreational or PAL building for the city, a new tot lot, 4 new covered barbecue areas, a full access exercise and leisure pathway with exercise equipment. You know, philanthropic programs to the city. We want to partner with MOCA. We want to do an employee matching program with donations to MOCA, and the sports center will do a matching donation to MOCA. If we are accepted, if this is something that the council would like to move forward on, this would be an entirely public-private partnership, like really in the community, part of the community, and making sure that it is the model across the state on what can happen when there's money available with private entities and an agreement can be reached. There's tons of give back, and I'm not even talking about a hotel that has approached us about partnering with us. There is a hotel, a number of hotels, they've got a number of flags, that are looking to position themselves with the Miami Sports Center. So more jobs and more tax revenue and more spur development for economic growth. I mean, it's just, it's a catalyst. It truly is a proven catalyst, mind you. It's not something that is as far-fetched as we would be led to believe. We have the same type of scenario here in South Florida as they do up north. So whether it's 6 months out of the year up north where it's snowing and they can't play sports outdoors, or it's 6 months out of the year in South Florida and we are at the mercy of the weather, it's the same. You know, somebody one time came up to me and said, Joe, why would you build an indoor sports center? Have you seen a tennis court at 2 o'clock in the afternoon? It's empty. And I go, exactly.
Now, these other services that you mentioned, like the medical center, are they going to be like a tenant of yours?
There will be a tenant in the building, correct.
There will be tenants.
Right. I have Dr. Kalbach with me that that would like to address the council. Dr. Kalbach is a renowned.
It's okay for now.
Okay.
I have one more question. I'm assuming for the restaurant, it's going to be serving only soft drinks.
Excuse me?
Soft drinks and water.
I didn't understand.
For the restaurant
Yes,
that
sir.
you're planning to open.
Yes.
You only going to be serving soft drinks and milk and chocolate?
Well, actually, there's two types of food service in the building. One would be a sports-themed restaurant for more casual seating, team meals, and those types of functions, corporate meals.
But no alcohol because of the proximity of the school.
No, then it wouldn't be alcohol because I think it needs like 1,000 feet more distance between serving alcohol and the school. So, but the cafe concession has a separate menu.
Against, just to echo what Councilman Desulme stated earlier, I don't see the lucrative aspect of it for the city yet. I don't hear you say anything about administration-wise, what say the city would have in the administration of the facility, and what kind of profit sharing that the scale that we're willing to put together for the city to get something back for the residents.
Well, we've outlined, the money long-term over the course of the lease. If there is something that the council or the city manager would like to see shared in depth, we'd be willing to share that information with, city staff and the council.
And Mr. Mayor, I think they talk about a lease agreement. That's meaning the lease agreement and the public-private partnership, that agreement that we're gonna sign. That's when we're gonna
have
ask what
all
we
those
want,
details?
what we wanna
Right.
accomplish, and if they agree with it, then we will proceed. That if not, then
I think that there's proprietary information that we can share with you that at this juncture is just a little premature in that sense. But I think that when seeing the benefits across the board, whether it be economic ancillary avenues, whether it be through restaurants, hotels, tourism dollars, I mean, you're talking about quite a few tourism dollars coming into the city. I mean, some of the tentative events that we have scheduled, if this facility were to be built, it would be worth our while. It would be worth the city's while, and we can show you that.
May I ask a couple questions?
Go ahead.
I'll be quick. Cagney Park North, Mr. Vienna Mayor, staff, how many acres is available for development? Maybe Ms.
how many acres?
9 acres?
9.2 something.
It's a little over 9.2, 9.3 acres. is still
So
the-
would that leave us room, because this is all indoor, would that leave us room for fields?
Yes.
No, they're gonna have fields.
No, he's
The
not
indoor.
building. No, I'm talking baseball fields, soccer fields.
They're gonna have
They're not building
the
that. You're doing it.
indoor.
You're not building an indoor
Not building
baseball.
anything.
We-
I'm about to rip into this. So, I'm holding my
Okay.
tongue as long as I can.
Okay, so they're not building indoor fields. 2 questions. One, can you change the amenities that you're talking about? Like 2 ice skating rinks, I think. I don't know if that would be
Randy,
the most popular
wanna
thing.
answer
Um, let's keep going.
Anyway, it's a discussion.
My
Yeah,
last
what
comment
discussion
is,
should we
if we're gonna, the idea, I will just say, the idea of a P3 on this property of a beautiful sports complex is appealing in certain respects. We do have to look into how that works with the city and the school board, and further, I hope everybody realizes, I believe, that before we do any type of P3, this would have to be put out to a bid to everybody. This was an unsolicited bid. We cannot just go out and say, hey, we want to do a P3. So if we are going, just so everybody out there realizes that if we're going to do one of these, which might be an interesting concept, this is a starter. This is something we could talk about, see what amenities we want, see where we want to go with it, and then we would have to put it out for bid. That would be the legal way to do it. We cannot just have someone come in and say, hey, let's do a P3. I'm done.
And one of the reasons why I asked the company to do a presentation is because when I see the project, and I know a company like Solemia, the 37 acres that we're talking about Solemia, they will be very happy to have it on the east. But what we try to do is to bring a $20 million investment in the middle of the city. That's another aspect that like I said, it's a presentation, and if you like it, we're gonna get it. But the point that I want to mention, it's instead of having the $20 million investment facility on Solemia, I would like to see that in the middle of the city. That's why we are looking at that location, Cagney.
All right.
That's one of the reasons.
We saw all the traffic issues. We've been in tune to some of the challenges that the city has had towards developing other areas other than that side, the east side of the town. And we are committed, but like Councilwoman Keys said, we invite an open bid process. We're confident in our data. We are confident in what we're bringing forth. We've done analysis. We just didn't throw a surf machine against the wall and say, hey, let's put a surf machine in. I know the owner of Surf Style. I know they bought the surf machine that was in Gulfstream Park. I know that surf machine is now in Clearwater Beach. I know their revenue numbers. I know how much it costs to ship it to Clearwater. You say 2 ice rinks. Mr. Albrecht worked at Pembroke Pines Ice Arena. We have the database from Pembroke Pines. You talk about Councilwoman Keys, City of North Miami being a drive-through city. Well, about 50% of Pembroke Pines' clientele drives through your city to go to Pembroke Pines. So we know that those people can pull over going through your town and enjoy those types of activities. Not to mention that there hasn't been a new ice facility built in South Florida in over 15 years. The technology that they're using in some of these rinks right now is so outdated, they can't possibly be functioning at an optimum level. We've got reusable energy that's going to be in our building. Hot air from the compressors heat the water. Cool air from the ice rinks cool the building. So we've done our homework. So we invite the open bid process because we're confident.
Okay.
Not overconfident.
So pretty much, I mean, I've, as far as I'm concerned, I've heard enough. And of course, the mention of the open bid process is a must, you know, just for the legality and transparency. And we've got the information. I don't know if anybody else has any final comment before we move on.
We appreciate the opportunity to address the council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Tab K, request from Coach Roland Jerome for a rental fee waiver to utilize the North Miami Athletic Stadium and the city's showmobile for the Diaspora Cup soccer events scheduled for Sunday, November 1, 8, 15, 22, and 29th, 2015.
Good evening. Diaspora Cup. It's an event. It's happening every year. We play soccer all day. This year, we're gonna do it for the whole month of November. So I'm asking you if you can waive the police fee for me this year, because this is something new we're gonna try. If not, we're gonna try to pay for it. If you can help us.
Did you say to waive what fees?
The police fee.
Mr. Manager?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please give us some
Hold on.
back from last week?
No, before I hear from the manager, I need to, Chief, can you, how does that process work as far as the police officers going to non-city events?
Historically speaking, in the past, when we had these city events, particularly last year, it was an event, was one-time event. We had about 8 to 10 officers. They worked about an 8 to 10 hour shift. We anticipated a crowd of about 1,000 to 1,500, and we paid off-duty detail, which is about $30 an hour. That's what the type of staffing we have for an event like this. So now we're talking 5 days is what I'm hearing. And we're talking, what I'm hearing also is about waiving the fee 5 times. We presented, I think city manager was 8 officers with a supervisor. It comes up to $1,800 a day. And that's at an off-duty rate, not
yeah.
at a overtime rate.
That's correct.
So, Mr. Jerome, do you consider this event a community event, just like family fun, or is it a lucrative business?
Yes, it is, Mr. Mayor. It's every year. We have been doing that for 10 years, and people enjoy it. Everybody come play soccer, and we have kids playing around and food. We enjoy it. I invite you guys to come play with us. It's a soccer event.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you pay every week?
Pay for police
You pay,
officers?
you pay for the fee, right?
No. The city give us the fee.
No, the
Now
fee,
we're asking
that
for the
waiver.
police fee, if you can waive it for us.
Part of the waiver actually is not only for police, it's actually for the rental of the North Miami Athletic Stadium, rental of the North Miami Showmobile, waiver of the North Miami police officers, and also, well, that's about it.
How much total?
Total, it's actually $5,840 per day or per one
How
event,
much?
and over the 5 days, you're looking at $29,200 in total of what the city would be giving up.
Does that include rentals that we're losing, or is that just what it's gonna come out of our pocket to pay staff and cost to clean?
Well, what it includes is the rental of the North Miami Athletic Stadium, the rental of the Showmobile, all these, which is $2,000 for the stadium, $1,240 for the Showmobile, and $1,800 for the 8 police officers.
And 800 for staff?
And 800 for staff for setting up the electric. The Showmobile is actually hooked up to a generator, so the city's electrician would have to go out there as well to hook up the generator to make sure everything functions properly.
But I know for a fact for the last 2 years, and it was raining. That's been. And,
Yeah, people don't show
for
up
the past 2
because
years.
it was raining.
It's been raining. That's been. It's like they didn't do anything in those 2 days. Is it correct? And Derek,
Yeah, sure.
for the past 2 years.
Yes, the last 2 years, Derek Corker, Parks and Recreation. The last 2 years, they have had to postpone due to weather.
Okay.
May I ask a question? I guess we have to open up. Mr. Sori, so in addition to giving up potential rental, which I'm not so opposed to, we have to come out of pocket, really $2,600 a day times 5 days. So I want to know where in the budget this is going to come from? Because this has to go in next year's budget, and the question is whether we have money in next year's budget to spend another $10,000, $12,000 on this event.
Through the mayor, it's not a budgeted item at this time. It is taking place in November. The $29,000 adjustments will have to be made during the fiscal year to accommodate the request. That will happen over the course of the whole fiscal year as projects that are being done maybe come in under budget, maybe a couple events come in under budget that are budgeted. That would be the way that the request, as many other non-budget requests, are addressed. That's how we would address the.
To put it in perspective, Hispanic Heritage Month, we have budgeted $10,000 for a large party and a month worth of festivities for the entire city. So I'm begging to get more than 10,000. So I just want to put that in perspective where our money's coming from.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor? My concern with the item and what I said last time is I don't mind because I think the actual cost, Vice Mayor Keys mentioned, is about $10,000 that will be coming from us because the Showmobile, obviously, it's not something that we although we pay for it, but unless we have an event. So the only cost that I did say, that I feel that, you guys should be able to pay would be the police, the 1,800 for police. Are you able to do that, sir?
If the city can help me.
No,
maybe
no, I'm
halfway.
saying if we,
Because
yeah.
it's gonna be tough on me.
That's $15,000. It's gonna, out of pocket 15,000.
No, it's not 15. It's 1,800.
It's-
A day.
It's 1,800 per day per
It's
event.
20, it's 2,600 a
Times
day, it's 1,800 for police and 800 for staff. That's $2,600.
Correct.
5 days is $15,000.
Okay. So 15,000. So the total cost from us is 15, you said?
Out of pocket will be 15,000, less the loss of income from the rental of the showmobile and the stadium.
And the stadium.
Okay,
So-
can we do half? Would that be a compromise?
That would be it.
Sold.
Yeah.
I'll second the councilman's motion that we scale the entire project back from 5 days to 2 days.
No,
No,
he's
no.
gonna pay half.
He'll pay half.
2/5?
Yeah, he just pay half.
That's what you said, right?
Yeah, he said it half.
40%.
Because are we using are we
We already
losing?
agreed.
We're not
He-
losing
He
anything.
agreed.
I'm sorry, Councilman?
Yeah, good for
He agreed.
half for half.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is-
I mean, yeah,
no,
for it.
but I understand that. But Councilman Galvin, was that your
Well,
intent?
I guess I'm not clear on what the difference between cutting the event in half
Oh,
and
okay, or the expense
paying
extra.
half is.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Are you? Can we
It's the
get some
same
more,
thing. I got you.
Can you give us more clarification, please, as to what you're proposing to?
I think, Mr.
Councilman Galvin.
Wait a minute. What you're asking is to cut the budget in half. That is gonna pay 50%, and you're gonna contribute 50%, right?
Yes, but here's
50%
That's
of
what
the
your
of
motion.
the
You wanna you to clarify his
50% of the
motion.
police officer's salary.
no.
Yes,
50%.
50 was, yes.
No,
That's
no,
why
no,
it is.
no, that's
Because
not-
you already agreed. We already agreed last time. Well, I know this
Did
is
we
the
vote?
50% discount. That's what we're talking
Discount,
about.
yeah.
If we give him 50% discount
All
of the
across?
total price,
From the 12,000 that we were talking about.
of the total price we're talking about.
Exactly.
No,
50%
police
of-
officers
No,
fee.
15,000.
Yes, 15. So
Of-
that
of-
would be
of cost of-
75.
That's only cost of staff for 5 days, 15,000.
Okay, my question was, if we cut that in half, 7,500, that was my intent. Because that would that save something, or is that helping?
Or do it 4 days instead of 5.
Yes, or,
You have to, it's gonna be a tournament, soccer tournament. You have to be
Oh.
five days. If you can help me with the police fees, that would be fine.
I know you're not making it. You're not doing it for money. It's
No, no.
that's something you've been doing in the community, and
Yes, 10 years.
and
we have
I don't
only
see any
incident,
gain in that. and
never one
and for the
incident.
last 2 years, I went and they ran, and as a matter of fact, did not help at all. And so I'm willing to vote on it because I know it's. If you can give a discount to the residents of North Miami,
So
because you
is
have,
there a
you have
fee?
a lot of people coming in from everywhere.
We always do that.
okay, where are we? Huh?
There's a fee.
There is a fee?
Yes, there's to pay a referees.
Mhm.
There's an
Okay.
there's an
Yes.
admission fee to the
Depends
stadium.
on the
to-
bands. It's a lot of
Trophies
fun.
to the teams.
Okay,
We saw it. It's a lot of
so
fun.
where are we?
Because
Is my motion?
he has to pay, he has expenses too. He has to pay for the bands, for referees, and possible uniforms and
I know that's a
so.
community event, and
So-
I would. vote
So
for
I
it, and-
made the motion that I would make, since we had agreed that we would forego the fees for the rentals to begin with anyway. And what he was asking in addition to that is to waive the police fees. So if we were to agree
Split it with
today,
them.
it would be to split the
We're gonna
police
split
fees.
the police fee with you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, let's take a vote.
didn't
You know,
know.
if,
You've never
if,
been
if,
to-
if we don't agree, let's
you
take a
never been
vote.
Okay, let's take a vote.
That's the only way to
Obviously
do
not.
it.
Obviously not.
Okay,
I mean,
Clerk, Mr. Clerk, my motion is to continue with foregoing the rental fees and then split the police fee half. Let's vote on it. You can either accept it or reject it.
Is that police and staff?
That's the proper way to conduct a meeting.
Let's
Ma-
vote.
Mayor, does that include police and staff, or just Police.
No, police. He said
We
he
have
was.
police and staff. We have 1,800.
Staff already recommended staff.
No, we didn't.
No,
we
that's
have-
it's part of the package.
I'm sorry,
$800.
Chief. You had something to say. I'm sorry.
You have a question.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Yes,
say
go
that?
ahead. Go ahead.
Just for clarity, and I understand, whatever it's 2,600, that's for the Parks and Recreation staff as well as the police. 18 plus 800 is 2,600.
Correct.
We got that part. I also heard about 50% in half to cut that. That means less police officers will be working at event.
We can do that instead of
It's an
8 to have
off-duty
4.
detail, separate from us paying overtime. That's how I could go ahead, because I'm taking officers from the regular patrol from the city to have the same amount of people to address the crowd. Then becomes a safety issue as well with the amount of people that are there. So you see what I'm saying? I can understand you taking 50%, but then we have to reduce, I won't have the same amount of officers to address the anticipated crowd. There may be some safety concerns and issues there.
That's not what we're not discussing the amount of police officers.
I just heard the amount being reduced in half.
We're talking to the city
50%.
manager. The city manager will share the information with you, Chief, on what we decide. We haven't decided yet.
No, I'm just
He will
sharing
give
that.
you the explanation.
Which had it in this.
All right, Chief.
He will give you
Okay.
the explanation.
You know,
Okay.
I feel like I'm being led by a bunch of blind people tonight. No offense to blind people, but I really feel that this management does not have control of its own agenda. You're letting stuff come in front of us that you half-heartedly, if even that, endorse, and you don't have any frame of mind over to how you're going to handle it all. You guys get paid a lot of money to be here on a daily basis and to own this stuff, and you keep stumbling into meetings. And look at the mess we've had tonight. What should have been a 20-minute meeting is now going to go into hours 3 and 4. I'm tired of you guys not being able to own and control and lead your own agendas. The last item before this was ridiculous. Now you guys can't even decide amongst yourselves what you support. You're going to embarrass him by having him come forward and make a request. He makes the same. I give you credit. This year you're not making it the week before the event. But he shouldn't have to be subjugated to all of this stuff. When are we going to see some leadership from administration in this city?
Councilman, as requested at the last meeting, I brought it back because it's over the $1,000 limit. Before you and your package, there's a complete breakdown of the daily costs for the event. The police officers are going to be, that are requested is 8 police officers for the event, totaling $1,800. Staff time to run the event is $800. Also, the North Miami Athletic Stadium rental fee, $2,000, and the showmobile, $1,240 per event, which totals $5,840. In the past, a percentage, I believe a percentage of the fees for the police officers was paid. Some of it was paid and some of it was not in the past. Because if you look at the history of what happened, I believe he still owed a certain amount for police officers. That was waived.
So if there was money that wasn't paid to us and it was owed, why wouldn't you tell us that? Why would you even put this on the agenda? If you have an issue, stop putting things on agendas you have an issue with.
Councilman, it is over the $1,000 limit based on our admin reg. That's the reason why it's
So
on
if
the
somebody
agenda.
bounced a check on you, and I'm not saying that you did, I'm just
Correct.
using this as an extreme example. Somebody bounced a check on you 5 times, you'd bring it back the 6th simply because it was over a certain dollar amount. I absolutely don't understand why we're up here debating all of these things. You should be able to work out administratively. And if you can't work them out administratively and you have an issue, tell us.
Got it.
Natasha, are we interrupting you? I'm sorry.
Now, Mayor, earlier you wanted me to call the vote. You did make a motion. Let me repeat your motion so that we can kind of move along. To waive, the motion that was made by the mayor was to waive all the rental fees, which apparently you guys agreed to last time, and split the police and staff fees 50-50 between the city and the Diaspora Cup soccer event sponsors. Did I get your motion correct, Mayor?
Yeah.
That was Mayor Joseph's motion. Do I have a second to approve his motion?
I second.
Councilman Bieneme have seconded the motion. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Is all in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so apparently it approved, and the aye votes were Bieneme, Mayor Joseph, Councilwoman Keys, and the nay votes were Scott Galvin and Desiree. Mayor Joseph's motion passes. Tab L, discussion and direction given to city administration regarding Sportmasters. Sorry. Don't jump on me, everyone. Spotmasters. Sorry.
Yes, I asked the city manager to put this item on the agenda, and apparently there's I really don't know how people got this mixed up. The purpose of this item is for us to give the city attorney direction on which some documents that we have received from Spotmaster's attorney requesting to go into mediation. So this is a conversation between the council and the city attorney just on that particular item, giving them direction. I received an email regarding this is why am I sponsoring this? This is not in my district, and I want to make this very clear. I am a citizen of the city and as a council person, and anything that's coming before me, regardless of what district it is my right and my duty to research it. So this is not an item for the public. This is something us giving the city attorney direction if he should go forward with mediation or not. And that's just the item. That's the whole discussion. Thank you. Roland, can you share with us the document you received?
Well, what I'm seeking this evening is there's a code enforcement case already. There's like 3 appeals that will be heard this month, 8 days from today. And those cases are ongoing and are not inhibited in any way by this item tonight. This is basically to take these proceedings outside the code enforcement realm. For example, we could initiate mediation, we can initiate litigation. We have to resolve certain issues, zoning issues, which are not being addressed at the code enforcement level. So I'm seeking the authority, the manager and myself, to do everything that is necessary to get compliance, to get some results.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Mayor, how do we move?
Any other question?
I haven't seen any documents, so I'm not aware. I've heard the word mediation, but I haven't seen any documents.
The suggestion of mediation has come up. That is a possible proceeding that we could entertain. And that's all it is,
We have ongoing violations.
which are still in the pipeline.
We have threatened pending litigation. I need to be very careful what I'm saying this evening, because God forbid I say the wrong thing, but we do have ongoing violations.
Yes.
Staff met with the owners almost a year ago and asked them to stop violating, stop the noise operating around the clock. On holidays, the noise never ceases. There are, from what I understand, there are fumes. People are not breathing properly. There's machines that are possibly operating under a tent that was not ever, they were not ever given permission to do. They were given permission for the tent, but not to operate this heavy machinery. I don't know what that is about. And there's talks about Spotmaster moving, relocating. And I mean, it's all up there, but, I mediate, but in the meantime, it is my direction that I want the noise to stop. And I want them to be operating, I want them to become legal. They will never become legal, because they will, in my opinion, they're operating a dry cleaning establishment, which is not permitted in their zoning. But they can at least become legal, have the permits. If the machines are not legal to be operated under air, then they need to be moved inside. And they need to stop making the noise after 11 o'clock on Christmas, on Thanksgiving. I really don't like getting calls, emails, texts, like 24/7 from my constituents and residents who live in the neighborhood. So mediation is fine, but I don't want to just sit and mediate for a year and them just not comply, because they haven't complied with our requests. We gave them ultimatums, so that's where I'm at.
Councilwoman Keys, Mayor, for the record, this is apparently a clerk issue that I didn't know anything about, and I want to echo what Scott said before regarding the lack of communication among administrative staff. If you have a business that's the charter gives the clerk the exclusive right to issue business tax receipts. That's what the charter. If anyone changes that, we got to change it via referendum. A business does not have a constitutional right to conduct business in any municipality. So that means if our ordinance and charter set forth rules that that particular business need to comply with, if they're not complying with whatever our ordinances or charter says, then we have to revoke their business tax receipts and their CU. And so, I mean, that's the way it works. And so the first person who should have been informed regarding a particular business that's not following particular rules is the office of the clerk, the office that authorizes that particular business to conduct business in the city. Stephanie and I was never informed that these individuals were not in compliance. So if that is the case, the city attorney and the city manager just let my deputy know, and if they're not in compliance, we get a written letter from you, we will revoke their business tax receipt and in turn revoke their CU until they're in compliance. And so that should have happened since day one. And I want to echo what you said before. Unfortunately, it didn't. So because we're the one who issued the BTRs, if someone isn't in compliance, we would remove the BTR until they become in compliance, and then they'll have to reapply for it.
Thank you.
Mr. Attorney, the purpose of this again is for us to give our very capable attorney either direction, which I support Council on Vice Mayor Key's position to go into meetings of how it needs. I think we got to be careful. The city attorney would go into mediation with the other party and whatever and come up out with the solution, whatever we giving them. And I think we got to be a little bit careful.
We're exploring every possible avenue that we can take legally to bring an end to this. Mediation is but one of the remedies that we can use. In addition to, as the city clerk just indicated, all the other remedies are available by ordinance in the charter in the city. All I'm seeking is yet another avenue so that we can bring closure once and for all to the problems at hand.
Mr. Manager, just if you remember very clearly, a few months back,
correct,
maybe 4 or 5 months ago, because this is not a new problem. I sat down with you along with code enforcement, the CPND manager, and we put together a team to actually work on this problem.
Correct.
But up to this date, I've never gotten any, and I kept asking for a comprehensive report of the fact-finding mission that was supposed to be done. And I went to that site with you, I think twice?
We went out there
right?
twice, yes.
Both you and I, and as well as the code enforcement people, we went there to look at the site and find a possible violation, and we even made an assessment of the noise level and having them putting like 4 or 5 of the machines on, and we went to the sites of the residences and to listen to the to the noise level. So all of this we did for nothing, because no report ever came to me, either from you. You are the city manager, so every report should come to you. And that was like 5 months ago. I've never gotten anything. Nothing. Zilch. So maybe it wouldn't come to even to this, had we done our due diligence in dealing with this matter in a very swift way. So I don't know. And again, to just echo what's being said, communications and starting something and not finishing it, that's usually what leads to lawsuit. That's usually what leads to revolutions from me. And a lot of times. So again, we are here every day. I mean, not we. You are here every day. Staff is here every day, 8 hours a day. And this is just one thing, one project that I started with staff, and nothing ever came out of it.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, I could address some of the issues, but I believe I prefer to meet with you to go through the issues at hand.
Okay.
I have a comprehensive report with timelines and everything. You will get a copy of it, and with that, I will produce it to each one of the council members.
Yeah, but how can a matter that I had been working with you and code enforcement and everybody, if it gets to a point where it's going to be litigated on, how come why didn't that come to my attention?
Mr. Mayor, the point at hand is this has been going on since May of 2008. It's an ongoing issue with complaints from the residents and also non-compliance with the business in question. As I said, I did meet with the owner of Spotmaster as based on direction that was given here at the council meeting. I showed them areas in the city that would actually allow an industrial facility in trying to get to some sort of mediation or relocation process. During that period, the business was served several nuisance violations by the Code Enforcement Department. That is a separate issue. As I said, there's a comprehensive report I have in my hand, and I will be sending each one of you a copy of it.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, through you to the city attorney, this is an open legal item. Am I not correct, or am I incorrect?
We're not in litigation at this moment, and we're not in mediation at this moment. We're at the code enforcement stage at this moment. That's all where we're at.
All of my 17 years now on this council, I've repeatedly been advised not to talk to code magistrates and things like that when it's an ongoing matter before them. Am I now to throw that 17 years of advice out the window because now we can start delving into things that are before our magistrate?
We're not. We're not discussing the current issues that are before the special magistrate. Those issues are still pending before the special magistrate.
So what would you intend to negotiate if not those same things?
Negotiate a remedy to really what's the root of the problem, which is the potential use, industrial use, of a business operating in a commercial district.
Right, but that very nature of that principle is what they've been cited for, allegedly violating parts of the code for operating under a tent and noise late into the night, et cetera, et cetera.
I'd like to differ. What's the violations that they're being cited on are noise violations. It has nothing to do with the use of the business. We're addressing the manifestation of the problem, which could very well be an industrial use. So the noise, the commercial vehicles parked all over the place, the parking, lack of parking, all those are indications, the indicia of a potential misuse of the property.
So where do I draw the line tomorrow when somebody else who's got an issue before our code magistrate calls me and says, well, hey, you're negotiating side settlements for that company. Why aren't you doing it for me? I want you to do it for me. I'm absolutely befuddled. I guess this is the confused Scott Galvin night. Where do I draw the line with where we're going to negotiate with somebody who's got an open code violation.